Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible to
Good
you?
afternoon, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon.
Which topic?
Today, today it is my class, and the topic that I have been given to lecture on is human values. I would begin with the meaning of induction program. Why do we conduct induction program at the beginning of the new session? By conducting induction program, our idea is to introduce you to the process, way and manner of welcoming you to the program, to the BTech course. So I welcome you all to this induction program. So by induction program we mean the process, way, manner of welcoming the new students to a particular institute, organization and course. By conducting induction program, our idea is to orient the new entrants to the ways of the particular institute, organization, college, etc. In my induction program lecture today, I will be talking about the human values, virtues, qualities that are important for a decent life. For a decent life. Human values like appreciation, listening, appreciation, listening skills, respect, mutual cooperation, openness of love, affection for other human beings are important for a peaceful and meaningful life in present society. I mean, if you want to lead a peaceful life, a purposeful life, we should give proper importance to human values. Because without human values, human life will be beastly. Society will be full of terrors, unrest and turmoil. To get rid of unrest and turmoil, we need to have human values. But unfortunately, in this modern era, we are so busy. We are so busy in amassing material wealth that we hardly have time to cherish and focus our attention on human values. I mean, modern life is engrossed in materialism. And it is so badly engrossed in materialism that we don't have time to focus our attention on human values. We are rather focusing our attention on material values. How to become somebody so that we can acquire wealth as much as we want. That has become our primary concern. No doubt we are intelligent people. We have inventive ideas. But then we are using our IQ and all our intellectual tricks to create something so that we are able to amass wealth, along with our reputation. And sometimes what happens is that we give much importance to amassing wealth, and that leads us to bad reputation. We lose our reputation. We lose our prestige even. So, we know that we should give importance to human values, but then in course of life we give importance to materialism, and that leads us to chaos. Literature since time immemorial has been delighting us, has been interesting us with emotions like love, anger, jealousy, greed, etc. The study of literature in the form of short stories and novels help us to learn about human values. We can remember a few quotable lines from Bible. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. This line reflects on human values. If we love our neighbor as we love ourselves, then what will happen? There will be happiness in our neighbor's house, and that happiness is incalculable. That strengthens the bond between you and your neighbor. This is very important. What we see in city is that the people who are your neighbors are not known to you. You are not known to your neighbors. Even when someone passes away in your neighborhood, you are unaware of it. We are celebrating birthday of our child while our neighbors are weeping. So, no doubt we are happy, but our neighbors are not happy. If we are really good human beings, then I think our happiness will not delight us if we see our weeping neighbors. The real happiness will be realized by us, cherished by us, only when our neighbors are also happy along with us. So this is what we mean by human values. Human values, is something that we should share with the people around us. If we are traveling, and then our neighbor is an old lady with a huge luggage, there is no harm in helping us to lift her luggage. That will give you happiness. I remember once I performed a job and that gentleman offered me 500 rupees. Then that 500 rupees I got as reward because I had helped just half an hour ago a poor lady by just giving her a packet of biscuit. So I spent just 5 rupees to help that poor lady, and in return I got 500. What does it mean? When we give something in charity, that charity multiplies and we get back that charity in it. in a bigger quantity. I spent 5 rupees, but then I got back 500 rupees. So that's why people say charity never goes in vain. Since I am from literature, I would like to remind you of a poem that is very much included in the intermediate syllabus of Bihar Council, Intermediate Council. Soldier. That soldier poem is written by Rupert Brooke. He was a war poet. What does the soldier feels? What does the soldier feel in the battlefield? He is in the battlefield fighting for his nation, beloved nation, that is England. And then while fighting in the battlefield, his mind is musing over the future. He says that if he dies in the battlefield, he will be buried somewhere in the battlefield. And that portion of love, that portion of land will be sweetened by his blood. And that portion of land will remind everybody of his dead body, that dead body would be a symbol for others to remember him. So after death also, he feels that his dead body will sweeten that portion of land where it would be lying. So patriotism is also a part of human values. Patriotism also is a part of human values. Service to man is service to mankind is service to God. We all quite often quote this line. Service to mankind is service to God. If we are serving mankind, it means God is being pleased by our deeds. God is being pleased by our deeds. So any good thing that we view as moral is a part of human values. So patriotism is a part of human values. And then helping people also is a part of human values. Then helping the poor also is a part of human values. Another thing that I would like to draw your attention to is acceptance of our mistakes. The moment we accept our mistakes, we allow positivity to take place in us. So, to allow positivity is the first step of human values. Sometimes we are so proud of our achievements, or sometimes we are so proud of our status that we don't admit our mistakes. As because we don't admit our mistakes, we don't allow positivity to creep into our heart. So, to allow positivity to creep into our heart is the beginning of human values in our life. Then, our holy books, the Gita, the Bible, the Quran, are full of examples of human values. That story which you all know, that story revolves around the hare and tortoise. The moral of that story is that we should have patience. So patience also is a part of human values. then honesty also is a part of human values. But pride is never a part of human values. Pride is never a part of human values. Honesty is a part of human values. Patience is a part of human values. But then pride is not a part of human values, because pride is a negative quality. So I mean, all positive qualities are components of human values. I mean, sometimes we come across brilliant students, and what happens that because people know that he or she is brilliant, she allows an inflated ego to develop, and that ego doesn't allow him or her to be submissive. And if we are not submissive to the people who know more than us, I think we can never gain anything from a great people. So to gain good things, to gain knowledge, we need to be humble, we need to be submissive. So to be humble and submissive, is also a part of human values. Well, we talk of tragedy and comedy. In comedy, we don't get examples of human values, but in tragedy, we do get. Tragedy teaches us something about moral. First of all, we should know what is a tragedy. By tragedy, we mean two emotions, pity and terror. In a tragedy, when we watch a tragedy, two elements of emotions are excited. First is pity and the second is terror. Pity, tells us to approach, whereas terror tells us to withdraw. And in traditional tragedies, we see that the heroes are, great personalities. Why we take, great personalities in tragedy? We take great personalities in tragedy because if a great personality is killed or dies, we will weep. If a beggar dies, nobody will weep. So a beggar cannot be a hero in a tragedy. In a tragedy, a great personality is always considered a hero. Why? Because his death will arouse two elements of emotions, pity and terror. See, I'm not talking about modern tragedies. In modern tragedies, we have heroes who are just ordinary human beings. But then in traditional tragedies, in Shakespearean tragedies, all heroes are either kings or princes. Because if you see a common mistake in a kingly personality, you will identify yourself with that king. Well, he is such a great king and he has a flaw. I mean, he has a flaw in his personality, and that flaw is universal. That flaw is even in an ordinary human being. That flaw is found even in ordinary human beings. So because of that flaw which is found in you, you start identifying yourself with that great hero in that tragedy. The moment you identify yourself with that great hero, I mean, you are trying to, identify your human values with the human values of that great king. And when because of that flaw, that hero dies, it teaches you a lesson that, well, being a king, if he could not save himself, so how can we the ordinary people save ourselves? So this is the lesson. For a very simple mistake, for a very simple flaw, if a king dies, and that if that flaw is universal, you will get a lesson that, well, that kind of flaw which is in you too will lead you to death. So this kind of knowledge is also a part of human values. So tragedy teaches us moral, stories teaches us moral. So these stories are considered carriers of human values. Tragedies are also considered carriers of human values. Then the holy books that we read, the Gita, the Bible, the Quran, these are also chief sources of human values. One more poem I remember now, The Charge of Light Brigade, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. That poem is written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. What happens? Cossack soldiers, they fight with the enemies, and the enemies are all armed, whereas Cossack soldiers have only swords in their hands. So the battle takes place between the armed army and the soldiers with swords. The soldiers with swords, they know that they cannot stand the armed armies. Yet the soldiers with swords, they run towards the armed army. They fight with them. In course of fighting, they all die. What actually they signify is the duty of being a soldier. The duty of a soldier is not to run away. The duty of the soldier is to face the opponent. The soldiers know how to do and die. They don't know to question why. The duty of a soldier is to do and die, but never to question why. So even from that poem, The Charge of Light Brigade, we get a lesson, a very profound lesson that is about being dutiful as a soldier. So for teachers also, it is expected that they should be dutiful, and to be dutiful is also a part of human values. So if you look at yourself from different angles which I talked about, you too can acquire many good examples of human values, and then just acquiring knowledge of human values will not help. We should acquire human values, and then we should practice what we acquired through our knowledge. With these few words, I would like to conclude my lecture. Many more new things we will share when we meet next. Thank you all for attending my class.